For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble, and thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. Happy Super Bowl weekend, happy State of the Union, happy Olympics opening ceremony, happy everything. It's just a great day, isn't it? And I hope you're staying warm where you are in February. Now that it's officially February, and in Canada, it's a little bit cold. So all this, I'm not going to be like Trump and say that global warming or whatever isn't real. And yeah, I don't know. But, there's some years where you have a really cold winter, and then there's some years you don't. And this right now in Winnipeg seems to be a very cold winter. Anyway, there's lots to talk about today. For the past several weeks, maybe even a month or two, we've been having 30 minutes of chatter because there's just so much on the go, and I do love hearing from you. You can always give me a shout. You can send an email to live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com, and I'm going to get right into the first story right now. Okay, I thought we were going to take a break, but I'll keep talking to you. Picture it. You are in a relationship. It's a breakup. You are the one who did the breaking up. You're the one who said, this is over, it's not working, we're done. What do you do to get over that? What do you do to get... It's not like you're being dumped and you don't feel... You're the one who felt empowered enough to end the relationship and say that it's done. How do you get over it? Do you have a drink? Do you call one of your friends? Do you go to the bar? Do you hook up with somebody? What do you do? Backstory to this one is a friend of mine just ended a relationship, and kind of we did the phone call, and then it's like, well, let's go out for drinks, and then, so that's how what stemmed this all. But we started to have this discussion, like, some people might have comfort foods, right? And just sort of, drown their sorrows in the bathtub or with booze or whatever. I want to know, you did the dumping. It's not like you got your ass kicked to the curb, but you said, I am person, hear me roar. So what do you do? How did you get over it? Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Now we're going to take a break, and even more chatter when we come back right here on The Scribble.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. When summer rolls around, and it's sweltering hot depending on where you live, the last thing you want to be doing is wearing pants and long sleeve shirt and everything and just sweating the day away. Now, what I'm getting at is that a lot of workplaces have it freezing cold in the summer, which is great because, again, you don't want to be sweaty. But there's dress codes in effect. So I was talking with somebody the other day, and a male, and he said, you know what I just realized is that women in our office can wear a dress and skirt and have their legs shown, and a skirt is really no different than shorts when you think about it, and I agree with that. And he said, but we can't have our legs showing, so guys can't. So you always hear these things about workplaces being unfair to women, unequal, and all these things. But when it comes to dress code, women can wear a whole bunch of different things that a guy can't. So it makes you wonder then, if a guy came in wearing a skirt, would that be appropriate? I guess you might have a human rights violation if the boss goes and says, actually, sir, you can't wear that. But your office is very, very warm and uncomfortable, and your legs, your thighs get sweaty and sticky if you're in pants too long, and you can't, you might want to do that. It would be interesting to see what happens. So I'm surprised that workplaces don't allow guys to wear shorts. Now, in our office, I come in pajama pants or sweats and sandals and what have you all day because we don't care. So I started asking around after having this one conversation with somebody, and I heard that it's actually more commonplace than I thought it would be. And I was surprised by that. So I was talking to somebody he was a student or is a student in college and has like a part-time job. It's at a call center. And he said, no, our dress code is even worse. Shorts, no, but it's one step further there. He said that we actually have to wear these god-awful shirts, and it's sort of got like their slogan or their customer service kind of mantra sort of thing. They have to wear that twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. So most offices, casual Friday, you can wear whatever the hell you want. At this place, you've got to wear this stupid shirt. And I envision it to be one of those shirts that when you go into a store and they're having a promotion, or if it's Christmas or whatever it is, and they've got those work-related shirts that have their campaign or something on it. So that's what they've got to wear Wednesdays and Fridays. He said shorts, no, not even close. But then you've got to wear these uniform-type shirts. And he said the funny thing is that this is a call center. Sure, we're dealing with the public, but nobody can see us. And they're up on whatever floor of this building, so it's not like people are walking by and looking in windows and seeing how professionally these people are dressed. He said, we're locked behind all of these doors, we're not even close to the general public, but everybody in the office has to wear these shirts on Wednesdays and Fridays, and it makes no sense whatsoever. And he said when I started, they pitched it as kind of like it's a team morale kind of a thing, and everybody wears it, and it gets everybody into it. And he said, this is probably the lowest morale place I've ever been in, ever worked in, never seen people take pride in wearing these shirts. And I thought, wow, I wonder if they actually did away with this, if productivity and morale and people would be happier coming into work. I've never heard of things like that. And I realized that depending on where you work, like McDonald's, you've got a uniform, things like that. Okay, it makes sense to me. But have some common sense, though, especially, like, let's say, the example of McDonald's. Now, I don't know their dress code, so I can't comment on how, but I'm using them as an example. If I'm standing in front of a grill or a deep fryer all day, and it's summer, and the air conditioning sucks in the kitchen, and whatever, then I would kind of feel it's more appropriate for the people to wear shorts where they are. Because here's the deal. Your legs are not the ones on the grill cooking my food. If you're overheated and you're sweating and your sweat is dripping onto my food, that's another concern that I would have. So I would prefer, you know what? Yes, wear shorts in the kitchen, whatever. I don't want you super hot and sweating onto my food. That's going to make me cringe and feel even more awkward about eating there. So I'm surprised, especially given with the whole millennials thing, and an employee goes into a job with it. It's funny how things have changed. It used to be that you would go and you would try to impress your boss and show why you should still work there. Now, millennials, from what I understand, kind of go into it being like, you know what, you're lucky that you have me, boss man, so if you want to keep me, you better treat me right. There's been this shift in mentality that people have when it comes to their workplace. So I'm surprised that some places that you're not even seen by the public. You're talking on the phone to them, but yet they're so particular about what you have to wear. And I think that what happens these days is people kind of just get up and go. They quit their job and they're like, you know what? And it could be something as simple as that. I don't like the dress code, so you know what? I'm gone. See ya. But yeah, so tell me about the dress code where you work. Live at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com. Because again, I'm of the mentality that I think it's ridiculous. For me, it's my company over here. I think if whatever's going to make you comfortable and work hard and focus and have a good time, then go for it. I don't need you in dress pants and dress shoes and whatever, because we're sitting and we're trying to have fun, and it's a pop culture type environment where we're talking about celebrity news and gossip and things like that. I don't want you in a frickin' three-piece suit and wearing a tie when you come in. I laugh at people that do that too when you go into a job interview. Let's say that your job interview is at Party City for a cashier. If you go in wearing a suit jacket and a tie, I'm going to look at you and say, maybe you don't quite understand what we do here. Now, I'm not saying go in with a Hawaiian shirt, but certainly you kind of dress for the part. You dress for what the atmosphere and the environment is. That's how I would anyway. Now, here's me who hasn't had a job interview or gone to... I don't even have a resume because I've owned this company for so many years. But that's how I would do it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe those headhunters or whatever those companies are, like those employee agencies, maybe they do want you to dress like that. I don't know. But I would say, that's not even me. So if I came in looking like that, you're going to expect that that's how I am every day, and it's not. So I'm going to go in to a job interview wearing at least maybe just a plain t-shirt. Like, I'm not dressing up because that's fine. It's really, when you think about it, it's like when you start dating somebody and you go on you spend hours getting ready and you've got to look perfect. And on a first date, you want to make a good impression, but then when do you start letting yourself go and being the real you? 4 dates, 5 dates? Like, no, you're going to get the real me on day one, and that's what it is. So I'm not coming in... You're hiring me because of my skills and abilities as to what the job is, not what I look like and my appearance. If I'm going for a job as a newspaper columnist or as a radio host, well, for the most part in radio, you're not going to see me every day, right? Because you're hearing me. So what does it matter what I look like? And when I've got to go out and do a community event or something, well, then yes, I will dress appropriately. But again, I'm not going to be in a 3-piece frickin' suit, for crying out loud. Send me an email, your thoughts, live@jbonair.com.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. There are a whole bunch of websites, and you probably know this. I didn't because it's just not my scene, but there's a whole bunch of websites where people get paid to masturbate and take off their clothes. Have you heard of these? Have you seen these? So I'm not even going to name them because, again, you know them, and if you don't know them, look them up and you can find them. But I didn't realize that because back in the day when I was growing up and you had MSN Messenger and you had a webcam, you basically kind of did that for people after you met them in a chat room or whatever it is. You didn't charge people to wank it on webcam for them. It didn't happen. And so now, though, there's this expectation that I will do that for you, but you've got to pay me. And I don't know how lucrative it is, and I almost want to start messaging these people just asking about their business plan and things like that, but they probably look at me and go, aren't you just here to shoot a load and get off, buddy? Like, seriously. So I am fascinated by this because once this came up in conversation and I started looking around and investigating, and with my job I can use my work computer and look up webcam jerking websites or stripping sites or whatever it is, and it's fine because it's for work. And people, I guess, want to you give them tips and you give them credits or whatever it is, and that's how they make their money. So I'm sitting there going, wow, work is for idiots then. And it's really no different than being a porno actor and filming a porno. You're just essentially getting paid to have sex, what it is. But here's these people that they're in their bedroom or whatever, wherever they are. I've even seen some people just sitting in their car doing it, I guess live streaming on their phone or whatever it is. And that's all they're doing is just, I'll show you more if you give me more money. It's really no different than what you'd have at a strip club. Though at a strip club, they do 2 or 3 or 4 songs, and then they're eventually naked. They're not waiting until they've got $50 piled on the dance floor, and then they're going to take it off. So it's really quite fascinating how these people, and again, because I'm a business person, I look at it a different way. I look at these people going, you're actually really smart. Like, you're totally playing. You might flash a little bit, and then you're waiting because I need $100 more, and then I'll take off my underwear, or I'll take off my shirt, or whatever it is. And it's really quite smart. So what I'm getting at is there's this new sense of business, and a lot of them probably don't look at it as a business when they're doing it, but they've figured out how to work it, and they figure out that, okay, well, I can sit there and be flirty and smile and maybe lift up my shirt every couple seconds, and then that's going to tease people and egg them on to stick around. And then I'll say that if I get $150, then I will take off the shirt, and then I'll lose the pants and sit in my underwear until we get to $250. I really didn't know that this existed. I swear to you, I swear I did not. And so then when you have these people that are on their cameras, and if you're one of them, I'd love to hear from you. live@jbonair.com is the email address. But then they've got their social media, their Twitter feed, or their whatever it is, and that's how they're promoting, oh, I'm live on cam now. And so I was fascinated by this. And these people have tens of thousands of followers sometimes. Now, I don't know if there's that many people actually watching them at any given time, but presumably a big chunk of them would be, I would imagine. And I just thought, wow, these people are really smart. So I don't know. Again, like I said, it goes back to the time where you would kind of just do it because you wanted somebody interested in you, and that's why you were getting naked on webcam. Or maybe you were just horny and you wanted to get off. I don't know. But from what I recall, when I was, early 20s, is that's how you would get somebody's attention, was that you'd flash your body or you'd whatever it was, and that was the great way to get attention. Now you're doing it for money, and you're just taking it all off, and I'm sitting there going, wow, these people. Now you've also heard about people who send these pictures around, and it's like, well, if you're looking for a job, that you better hope that you're not running for political office. Well, no, you've got politicians that are sending pictures of their junk. Anthony Weiner, isn't that the guy's name? So I don't think that that's a problem anymore. But certainly, it kind of makes you think, like, wow, these people that are like early 20s, and they don't need to work 8 hours a day. They can sit at home and beat their meat for 3 hours and make way more than you're going to make all week. And again, I don't know that that's proportionally exactly how much you're getting paid when you're doing it, because I imagine the website that's hosting these people is taking a big chunk as well. But yeah, what a great business idea is that I'm going to be sitting at home masturbating anyway. Might as well just make some money off it. Like, it's fascinating to me. I don't get it. Now, I'm not saying that I do this because I don't even have a webcam. I do not have a webcam, let's be honest. Or no, there is one on my laptop, but whatever, my laptop I rarely use. But I could be probably making some extra side cash if I was doing these sorts of things. What are your thoughts on this? One, do you think it's just socially acceptable now? Like, oh, if your boss, I think, is more looking to see if you're a racist or how politically offensive you are. You're taking your clothes off? Well, I think that's just commonplace these days. Would love to know your thoughts. live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your time today. So, I'm going to be completely honest. I am not a celebrity, and I don't feel I'm a celebrity, and I don't call myself a celebrity. When I have to make small talk with people, and they ask me like what I do, I actually, believe it or not, I just give a general, I'm a writer. And unfortunately, it's one of those professions that people are then going to probe a little more, right? What do you write? Oh, where do you write? And so I'll just say, well, I write for newspapers. Oh, well, which newspapers? Or I'll just say I write books. Oh, well, what have you written? And then, or I'll say, well, I write for radio, right? And I just try not to expand on it, because how do you, and maybe it's just where I'm from, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, where you don't have media company owners who go and hang out in Hollywood. So it's a little bit different for my situation, but I downplay what I do. And I've always been like that. And I've never had an ego about myself. And we were on location taping travel tourism broadcasts a few weeks ago, and we were doing lunch, and one of the tourism reps was scrolling through my tweets, and she's like, "Oh, you've got quite a social media following," and and I said, like, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think anybody cares to know what I'm doing every minute of the day. I really don't. Now, I know there's tons of people who want that attention and want to feel wanted, and but for me, I'm just like, I don't care to tell you. I'm not broadcasting what restaurant I'm in right now. I will do it for our shows, and that's what you'll see on Twitter. So if you do see a picture of my food somewhere, chances are we're at that restaurant or we're promoting it or we're doing something with it, but I'm just not. I've never posted things from family events, so when we've had weddings or stuff, I will get an email saying that I'm tagged on Facebook or whatever it is, but I don't put things about my personal life. Again, maybe it's privacy, but I don't have that ego about myself that you care what I'm doing every minute of the day. And so we had this conversation, and I just said, like, we have tweets that are sometimes pre-programmed for me, and they go out at certain times, and like when I tweet the entertainment headlines, I'm not always right there. Sometimes I'm sleeping already because we taped the show the night before and what have you. And so I said there's also, when I'm in Winnipeg, and some other places too, I guess, if I'm recognized from the newspaper or whatever it is, there's that expectation that you're going to be on. And I always hate that. And I've hated it. When I was a teenager, I had a great outgoing personality, and I liked being on. I liked being the center of attention. I liked that. And now as an adult, I kind of like just fading into the background of things. And when I go to places, if there's a media event or whatever it is, I am actually standing kind of off to the sidelines and not really getting involved, and I'm just staying quiet, which is a total 180 from the way I was before. I was the person that, if we're when you do like group projects at school, and you always have to have that one person who takes control, and you just hate them because they're a dick and bossy and whatever. I was like that. But then come college, I really just sort of took a step back, and so I'm sort of like that now as an adult. Now, don't get me wrong. For my job, I have to do that. When we're doing interviews and things like that, I have to step up and own it and take control, and that's one thing. But I don't feel like being on. And again, when I've had family events, a wedding or whatever it is, I'm often expected to be the MC, right? I'm supposed to do the speech. I'm supposed to host the event, whatever it is. And again, that's fine, because that's what I do. I have no problem talking in front of people and things like that. But there's just days when you want to be off, right? And celebrities have that. You see them on TMZ and in tabloids when they're attacking photographers and things like that. Again, I don't have people following me around, right? Trust me, reality check, I know that I'm not a big superstar celebrity, but and I'm not recognized very often. I swear to you, it's like once every few months. So I was at the pet store the other day, and I was late. I had a meeting. The person actually didn't show up. I was pissed. There was no mention of even like canceling, and the meeting was across the city, so I schlepped all the way there and waited around, and then I had to go and run an errand, somewhere else in the city, and I was just like, oh crap, that's right. So on the way home, I stopped at the pet store, which is at the end of my street. Now, I don't mind. There's some days where I'll be chatty. And it's just a small little store, so there's usually like one person working, and she or he is often bored anyway because not many people are coming in and they don't have a coworker to sit there and talk with. But I was just in a mood that day. And trust me, if you're a pet owner, you love somebody asking about your pets because you want to go on and tell all these stories. So I needed to go and get rabbit food, and I just was not in a chatty mood. But the girl's like, oh, how many rabbits do you have? And I kind of paused. I didn't answer right away. I was like, 2. Oh, what kind are they? A lop and a blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's nice. How old are they? 9, and the other one's going to be 1. Wow, what an age difference. Are they better? I'm just like, I don't feel like talking to you. That's what my whole thing was. I just didn't feel conversational. And I realized that she's just being polite and providing good customer service and making me feel welcome and engaging in the conversation. But the one time that I'm just not in a mood. And again, then she's asking, do you have other pets? Well, yeah, I've got 2 dogs. There's a part of me that should have just said no. But I don't know. I guess I can't lie. I'm not a liar like that. So I was just like, yeah, I've got 2 dogs. Oh, cool. Did they get along with the rabbits? What kind of dogs? How old are they? What are their names? I'm just like, oh my God, shut up. I just want to buy the bag of rabbit food. And again, the entire exchange was no more than a minute. I'm not saying that I was there for 10 minutes talking about the pets, but it was It's just one of those situations where you just want to get out of there. Like, I don't want to talk. And then you're going to look like a dick if you just go and say, I don't feel like chatting, right? Because she's not doing anything bad. Like, she's just being friendly. And she really was friendly. Like, she just seemed genuinely like she loved pets and wanted to know. And that's what you can ask for. Because trust me, if it's between going into a store and having somebody like that or somebody who's not even acknowledging you and talking with their coworkers as they're ringing you through, that's something different. I do have an issue with that. When I go to the store, whatever it is, if it's in a mall or whatever, I don't want to hear the employees talking to each other behind the register as they're both ringing through a customer and saying, oh yeah, I've got to go for my break after this. Yeah, I've got to do this. Yeah. Hey, where's so-and-so? They were late, weren't they? It's like, hello, you're talking to me. You're ringing me through. So it is. It's kind of two sides of the coin where it's like, I don't want you to talk to me. Don't even want you to acknowledge me, look at me, anything. Just ring me through. Get me out of there. But I do have an issue with that. I don't need to hear about how you're off in a half hour and you're going to your friend's birthday tonight. That's not my thing. I wrote about that in my book Multiple Sarcasm, by the way, when I went on to my chapter about shopping. And I just said, like, the worst is when employees complaining about something. And so, maybe they just got a new computer system or maybe they have a new process and they like narrate to, oh, that's right, I've got to go to this screen now. Oh yeah, they just changed the computer system. Yeah, it's so hard to remember. I don't care. Just ring me through and get me the hell out of there. I don't need to hear your problems. I don't. So anyway, and maybe I'm just a cranky shopper. I was in a mood that day. And there's a part of me that feels bad because I wasn't snappy. I really wasn't. I wasn't rude to her at all. I just wasn't very forthcoming with information. So I was answering the questions, but I just wasn't, And then, worse yet, though, was I felt obligated to then go and ask, oh, well, do you have pets? And sure enough, sure as poop, she had, what did she say? She had a rabbit, she's got 4 kittens, or 5 cats, one is the mom, and then there's 4 kittens. And then her brother has this and that and whatever, and I was like, oh, like a zoo. And that opened up the floodgates for her to start telling me about her pets. And like I said, it was no more than a minute and a half or so, and so I was out of there. But trust me, if you're in one of those awkward conversations where you don't care to have that conversation, that minute and a half can be excruciatingly painfully long. Trust me. I think I've talked about it on this show. When we do celebrity interviews on the radio, it can seem like 8 minutes is an eternity if the person is not interesting or they just don't have anything, fascinating to say, or if you really don't care who they are. So anyway, I would love to know your thoughts on this one. Do you ever just feel like not being chatty? Are you short with the people? Are you rude? Do you just brush it off? How do you handle it? Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. This is The Scribble.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
That's right. We are on the Twitter. Oh, we're almost out of time. We got about 2 minutes left, so I just want to recap all of the live tweeting action that's coming up in the next little while. So I was live tweeting the State of the Union address. I was live tweeting the Grammys. I live tweet The Bachelor on Monday nights. Really, I don't want to say that I'm becoming a social media addict because it's part of my job, so I kind of, I do it for work. But live tweeting, I guess I'm going to try to live tweet the Super Bowl commercials. I'm not a big football fan, but I'll see what I can do if you're listening to this, by the way, before Super Bowl. And then, of course, Bachelor on Monday nights, and then the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. I will be live tweeting that. So follow along for me at Jeremy D. Bradley, at Jeremy, the letter D, Bradley, Bradley. And of course, we're at The Scribble Show on Twitter as well. And again, my account is just littered, it's just dripping with sarcasm. So if you don't appreciate a good laugh and you have no sense of humor and you got to stick up your butt, don't follow me. you're too uptight. I don't want you to even be near the page. Stay away from it. It's not worth it. Don't insult me, because when I make jokes about The Bachelor, people fire back and go, well, what is it? You watch the show, so blah blah. It's like, yeah, but I'm being sarcastic. I'm being paid to mock these people. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet gig. All right, feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's always awesome hearing from you. My email address is live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com. And again, on Twitter, @JeremyDBradley. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter @thescribbleshow. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,